You're watching VNews Bulletin. I'm Vinh Hằng from Hanoi with the major stories. Leaders of the Vietnamese Party, State and National Assembly welcomed and held talks with visiting Bangladeshi President Abdul Hamid. The Ministries of National Defense of Vietnam and China conducted the 5th National Defense Strategy Dialogue. The Vietnam People's Supreme Court and U.S. Supreme Court agreed to increase bilateral cooperation in order to raise the transparency of judgments. Top leaders of Vietnam welcomed and held talks with Bangladeshi President Abdul Hamid, who has been in Vietnam for a state visit from August 9th to 13th. At the meeting with the Bangladeshi leader, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng spoke highly of the visit, describing it as a vivid symbol of the traditional friendship and multifaceted cooperation between the two nations. The party chief affirms that the Vietnamese party and state's consistent foreign policy is to treasure cooperation ties with traditional friends, including Bangladesh. He expressed his wish that the two sides would strengthen relations between the two ruling parties, national assemblies, and people-to-people exchanges, as well as step up cooperation in various fields such as security, defense, economics, trade, science, technology, culture, and tourism. For his part, President Abdul Hamid praised Vietnam's important role and position in the region, and affirmed that Bangladesh wants to further enhance friendly and cooperative relations with Vietnam in a wide range of realms. The President stressed the need to increase mutual support in regional and international forums, as well as the United Nations. Bangladesh is willing to share experience in peacekeeping activities with Vietnam, he added. Earlier, Vietnamese State President Trương Tấn Sang hosted a welcome ceremony for Bangladeshi President Abdul Hamid. At the later talks, both hosts and guests said they were pleased with the development of the traditional friendship and multifaceted cooperation between Vietnam and Bangladesh since the establishment of diplomatic ties 42 years ago. The two presidents agreed to consolidate and further foster bilateral ties in existing cooperation areas, while expanding to other potential fields, focusing on politics, defense, culture, and tourism, as well as in regional and international forums. They also agreed to lift two-way trade to $1 billion in 2016. Accordingly, both sides will work closely together to create most favorable conditions for businesses to share information and invest in each other's markets. President Hamid stressed that peace and stability in the region and the world are important factors for cooperation and development. Nations need to observe international laws and increase dialogues to peacefully resolve disputes, while ensuring safety and freedom of navigation, he noted. At a separate meeting the same day, Chairman of the National Assembly Nguyễn Sinh Hùng told President Abdul Hamid that he hopes the visit will mark a historical milestone, therefore fostering the traditional friendship and cooperation between the two countries. The Vietnamese top legislator expressed his wish that Bangladesh and Vietnam will map out overall orientations and generate a new momentum for the further development of bilateral relations. For his part, President Hamid said Bangladesh wants to bolster cooperation with Vietnam for the benefits of both peoples and for regional peace and development. Both sides also pledged to create favorable conditions for the two national assemblies and parliamentarians to broaden cooperation, especially in regional and international parliamentary forums. As part of their agreements, the Ministries of National Defense of Vietnam and China conducted the 5th Defense Strategy Dialogue in Hanoi on August 10th.
The dialogue offered an opportunity for both sides to build mutual strategic trust and narrow differences in order to boost relations between the two armies and people of Vietnam and China. At the event, the two sides exchanged views on the situations in the region, the world, and in each country, as well as issues that have impacts on security and national defense in the two countries. They also reviewed the outcomes of defense cooperation since the last dialogue and discussed ways to further boost bilateral defense ties in a practical manner, thus consolidating the traditional friendship between the Vietnamese and Chinese armies and people, and ruling out distortions on the bilateral relations in the recent time.
Leaders of the Vietnam People's Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court have agreed to beef up bilateral cooperation in order to enhance transparency of judgments.
The consensus was reached at a meeting between Chief Judge Trương Hòa Bình of the Vietnam People's Supreme Court and the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg in Hanoi on August 10. Bing suggested the two sides step up experience sharing in revamping legal proceedings, judicial reforms, and training court officials. The host briefed his guest on the role, organization, and operation of the Vietnam People's Supreme Court in line with the 2013 Constitution and the law on the organization of the People's Court. He expressed his interest in learning more about the structure and operation of the U.S. Supreme Court. Ginsburg shared the U.S. Supreme Court's experience in a number of activities and introduced U.S. legal proceedings, appeal conditions, and judgments to the host. She said the cooperation between the two agencies has fallen short of the expectations and proposed increasing delegation exchanges to raise mutual understanding. The U.S. judge also pledged to actively support and cooperate with the Vietnam Supreme People's Court in this field.
Vietnam's timber industry gained growth in its export value in the first 7 months of 2015. However, insiders said the industry will face various difficulties in maintaining this growth until the year end. The General Department of Customs reported the industry has gained a year-on-year increase of 8.4% in total export value to reach $3.7 billion. The US, Japan, and China were the three largest import markets for Vietnamese wooden products, accounting for 66.3% of the total export value. The domestic wood industry has achieved strong growth since 2000, seeing a surge in total export value from $294 million in 2000 to $6.2 billion in 2014, with an average growth rate of 15% each year. This year, the industry expects to gain a total export value of $7.2 billion, and Vietnam will become the fourth largest exporter in the world market, after China, Italy, and Germany. However, enterprises continue to face many challenges in achieving further growth in exports, such as the complications of exchange rates and the unstable supply of raw materials. The EU is one of the country's largest export markets, but the reduction in the value of the euro price has made foreign importers cut imports of Vietnamese wooden products, and has even forced local exporters to reduce their price. Meanwhile, the rising value of the US dollar has driven up the cost of imported raw materials. Local producers import 70% of their raw materials, so enterprises have made little profit or even suffer losses. In addition, input costs of coal, electricity, and water continue to rise. As a result, Vietnam's wooden products are at a disadvantage compared to products from other countries, such as Myanmar, Malaysia, and Indonesia. For a long time, Russian consumers in the city of Krasnodar have been accustomed with famous retailers such as Auchan from France, Metro Crest and Kerry from Germany, or Magnet of Russia. But now, they can buy Vietnamese foods at local stores under the brand name Cherry, which have been opened in Russia. More in the following.
Cherry is the first chain of food shops owned by Vietnamese people in Russia. It boasts a diverse range of products, from vegetables to fresh produce, breads, and some of Vietnam's specialties. Other convenient and essential products are also available at the stores. Currently, there are 10 Cherry stores opened for business in Krasnodar.
My branch officially opened on June 25th. You can call our shop a convenience store or mini supermarket. Either way, people are growing familiar with our franchise and are coming more and more. Our chain of food stores has just launched. The first cherry shop was available in January. Since then, we've been opening up one new store per month. We have targeted middle-income earners, so our products are diversified with reasonable prices.
It is not easy to compete on the Russian retail market, especially with well-known brands already established their strong presence in the country. However, the first successful step of Cherry will serve as a momentum for other individuals and businesses to enter this potential market.
The Mekong Delta region needs to offer outstanding tourism products, increase marketing activities, and coordinate to create a hospitable tourism environment to attract both domestic and foreign tourists. The suggestion was given at a recent conference held in Anzang province.
Local tourism managers have asked the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism to provide financial support for tourism promotion in foreign markets and help develop waterway tours in the region. The Mekong Delta Tourism Association was put forth as a bridge to share experience in tourism development between localities in the region. In the past few years, the region has focused on investing in typical tourism varieties, including Cần waterway tourism, Kiên sea tourism, Anzang spiritual tourism, Cà Mau's alluvial flooded forest tourism, and cultural tourism in Bạc Liêu. In addition to efforts made to preserve the famed Cái Răng floating market, Cần Thơ city has developed waterway tourism integrated with historic, cultural relics and craft villages, while paying attention to security and sustainable tourism environments. The city also surveyed options to boost tourism linkages with Cambodia. Meanwhile, other regional cities and provinces have joined with European experts to build outstanding tourism packages in Anzang and Kiên provinces and Cần Thơ city. Highlights of the region tourism are the Núi Cấm tourism site, Ba Hòn Hòn Đất historical site, Ho Chi Minh commemorative site, Hồ Nam ecotourism, and Công Tử Bạc Liêu house.
Since the beginning of this year, the Tân Trào National Historical Relic Site has received over 450,000 tourists. What's more, now the National Independence Day, September 2nd, is coming. The site is experiencing an even higher influx of holidaymakers. Our reporters have more details.
Since the beginning of August, the Tân Trào National Historical Relic Site, located in the northern province of Tuyên Quang, has welcomed over 50,000 domestic and international tourists, up 20,000 compared to the previous month. On some days, the daily number of visitors reached a peak of more than 4,000 visitors. The Tân Trào National Relic Site spans over 2,500 hectares in 10 communes in Sơn Dương and Yên Sơn districts. It combines a total of 177 sites, 40 of which are recognized as National Historical Relic Sites by the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism. In recent years, Tuyên Quang Province has poured over 4.7 billion Vietnam dong, or $215,000 into restoring and upgrading special works, including the Tân Trào House and Hồng Thái House. This is part of an effort to uphold the cultural values and revolutionary tradition of the Tân Trào site for future generations.
And that is the end of our program. Thank you for tuning in and goodbye for now.